And I believe we are now live. Hi, welcome to the Stream It
Yeah.
Live. I'm David Strickle, your co-host, and this is our main host, Matt Gardan. Hi, Matt.
Hi, guys. Well, I think you're more, David. I think you're more than the host. You're like the reason for the show. I'm just,
no.
yeah. I'm just the girl who spins the wheel of fortune.
Yes. Oh, wouldn't that be great? Actually, I know a little trivia here. Vanna, who spins the wheel. No, it's just well, what does she do? She spins the letters on Wheel of Fortune.
Yep.
My friend has been her makeup artist for 18 years. Guy I know has been her makeup artist.
Wow.
Yeah. Real stable job because that show's been on the air for like 30 years, right?
Yeah.
So
and she's been looking great all that time.
Yeah, he does a good job. He needs to work on me a little bit. All right, so we are going to be bringing the stream in a few minutes, and you'll be able to type questions and ask. But we're going to start out with an unusual topic for us right now. Not terribly unusual because we kind of keep it real and talk about everything anyway. But talking about being down the spiral, down in negative vibration. You know you're down in negative vibration, and I know when I'm in negative vibration, one thing after another just goes wrong after goes wrong after goes wrong after goes wrong. Like right now, my fancy camera on my computer isn't working because I've been down spiral all day and I've got this grainy look about me, which I don't really care one way or the other, but my camera's not working. And, I have these little things just pop up that show me that I'm down my spiral. Of course, I don't need little things to pop up. I know how I feel when I'm down my spiral, but those are sort of the universal evidence. But the way I look at it, Matt, is, and everybody else, when I have these little things that pop up, it's sort of like the little warning light in your dashboard on your car. It says, hey, something needs your attention here.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at these little things that pop up in my life, identity theft. Was I headed down a really negative path or something in some way that needed my attention? I don't know. I've certainly worked to get up my spiral since then, but, a little out of energy right now, just a little low energy. Today's the first day in Palm Springs where it hit 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hot. In the United States, we have Fahrenheit. It's 100 degrees, is pretty hot. So it's the first hot day, and I love hot weather. So that made me really happy. But having to go outside and wear a mask in 100-degree weather didn't make me as happy. It was a little harder to breathe that hot air, through that mask. So I'm letting these little things nag.
Sorry, man. For everyone else in the real world, that's 37, almost 38 degrees.
Yes, for those of you in the real world, it's 38 degrees Celsius.
Well, we have real temperature.
But this is America, and we do things our way here in America.
That's crazy hot, though, man. That's really hot.
It gets to 120 here in the summertime.
Yeah.
It's a desert. Well, I live here because I like the heat. I like the desert heat. I like the dry desert air. And you've been here; it's beautiful here.
That's stunning.
Of course, it wasn't 100 degrees when you were here.
No, unfortunately.
So anyway, I if you haven't watched this before, most of you probably have, but if you haven't watched before, I channel Source. I channel what I call a group of non-physical entities, but we all call them Source, and they come to all of us. And I am able to get information from them and write it and speak it in such a way that I can give answers to questions and things like that. That's what I do. But Source is a very high vibration. Source is as high vibration as it gets, right? So if I'm down my spiral a little bit, I don't really have access to them. So in order for me to do this, I've got to get up my spiral. So, the little warning signs that show us that we're down the spiral, though, are really a gift, because if you pay attention to those little warning signs, and instead of just saying, well, today's just crap, it's going to go from bad to worse and everything's just going to go wrong, your day will go like that. But if you stop and appreciate and breathe and just clear your mind for a moment, turn off the thought train, you can go up in vibration. And I do it all the time. I have to do it to be able to channel, but I want to do it, more importantly, just for what's going on in my life, because things are going to go much better in my life if I'm up my spiral, up in high vibration, than if they're down. But there's also this thing that we've been talking about a lot lately called spiritual bypassing, where you just pretend like you're up. We talk about fake it till we make it sometimes, but you pretend like you're up, you're cheerful. And to me, the vibration of cheerful is you're really not in high vibration. You're pretending like you are, and you're putting on a brave face. But the universe doesn't answer that. The universe answers your actual vibration. Regardless of what you're saying is happening, your vibration is your mood, what you're feeling. That's the energy that you're projecting out into the ethers, and that's what's coming right back to you. So if I get down my spiral a little bit, I start seeing the evidence of being down my spiral, and I know I've got some work to go do.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right, David. I mean, I think there's two things. One is, if you're down your spiral, and you understand that we live in an attraction-based universe, you're going to attract more of that. And I think two is, it's kind of a good topic to talk about today, because a lot of people are generally stressed much more than they would normally be. A lot of people aren't doing what they would normally be. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and so how do you deal with that when you're more stressed than you would normally be, when you're more down the spiral than you would normally be? What are some tips and tricks that we can do to get out of it? And I think you're right. The more we practice TIRE as a daily mindset practice, and the more we utilize those tools that we learn in boot camp, the easier it is to manage your position on that emotional vibrational spiral. But for people who haven't had the training we've had, and for people who aren't as familiar with your teachings or TIRE, it can be really difficult to stop boarding that thought train and not get carried away with stuff, especially when you're locked inside all day. You've got nothing to do but look at bad news. You can't be with your loved ones. You may have lost your job. There's a lot going on that people have to deal with. And it's 37 degrees.
100 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes, it's 37 degrees outside. Very different than 100 degrees here. So I will tell you what I do. I look for things to appreciate. And if that doesn't work, if I'm too far down my spiral to raise my vibration to appreciation, usually I can just look at something. I come home, I'm in a bad mood. There's my dog. Boom, I'm in a better place. I think we all have that experience sometimes, right? But if you're really down there, the dog is going to make you happy for a moment, then you're going to go right back to where you were vibrationally, which is not where you want to be. So things to quiet your mind, because one thing that I have developed, with my TIRE practice that we all learn in boot camp and with the TIRE practice is not boarding the thought train when you're down the spiral. And that takes time and effort to learn not to do that, to not have your Claude voice. And if you don't know what your Claude voice is, that's a technique that I developed years ago, where I took the voice of limiting beliefs that was in my head, that voice that we all seem to have that says that you're not good enough, it's not going to work, you're never going to get there, that doesn't work for people like you, that little nagging negative voice that we all seem to have. I decided that was no longer going to be part of me. That's something that I was going to separate out from myself, and I was going to make it sort of this little thought bubble. I have looking all the way over here as the camera's not seeing that. This little thought bubble over here that's not part of me, it's something that's external. And I decided to give it an identity, and I gave it the name Claude. At the time, I didn't know anybody named Claude. It just didn't sound like a very appealing name to me. Now I have a friend named Claude. He's actually kind of cool. So, but I named it Claude, and it helped me shut that voice down. So it was very easy for me whenever that little voice would start up to start, oh, wait, that's not me. That's Claude. Shut up, Claude. Go away, Claude. I don't have a Claude anymore. Claude's gone. So even when I'm down the spiral, I have developed the ability not to let that thought train run off with this is horrible and that's horrible and oh my gosh and pandemic and end of the world and financial disaster and I just don't do that. And anybody can develop, because I used to do that just like everybody else, or just like most everybody else. So I believe that anybody can develop the ability to shut that voice down and stop that thought train from going. So once you shut that down, then you can breathe. Then you can quiet your mind as much as you can. And again, that's something that's a technique. You've got to take time and have some patience to learn how to quiet your mind, to calm down, to allow that source connection to rejoin you, because it's always there.
Yeah,
it's always there. But we're cutting it out when we go down the spiral. We're down a negative vibration. We've got the thought train going. We're beating ourselves up emotionally, or maybe we're emotionally beating someone else up. Who knows? But we're down in that negative vibration. And then for me, I get very fast evidence that I'm down, and I know that I'm creating this because I'm down my spiral right now. So today, I'm not going to share all of them here necessarily, but there were like 5 things in a row that happened this afternoon. Down the spiral evidence, down the spiral evidence, down the spiral evidence, one thing after the next, that I just see that, okay, it's not going to kind of laugh at it at this point. It's not going to stop until I stop and do some work to go up in vibration.
Yeah, yeah. David, there's something you were talking about Claude recently, and there's something I meant to tell you. I've started freediving recently, and we dive in an area where there's a whole bunch of boats, and you hold your breath and you go down underwater as long as you can, and then you come back up. And when you're down there, thoughts are racing and everything. And I came back up, and one of the boats was called Claude, like just right there. And I was like,
That's funny.
yeah, it was cool. But I think you're right. It is a technique, and we don't realize how powerful we are, and we don't realize how powerfully we can get depressed and agitated and stressed, and we also don't realize how powerfully and how quickly we can get out of that cycle.
Yeah.
And it is a technique that we learn, and it's certainly something that you teach in boot camp, which I've found incredibly useful. And hopefully it's something that the stream, well, I know it's something that the stream will give us some good insight on today. And in a way, this is what we're doing here also is an example of spinning that around and moving back up the cycle and taking an opportunity and making the best of it. And I think doing this work doesn't mean you have a perfect life at all. And you mentioned spiritual bypassing before. You actually don't want to spiritual bypass when you are living a life of joy and clarity, because you understand that the problems are opportunities. We could have not had the show today because we weren't feeling like it, or it wasn't working, or it was difficult, or blah, blah, blah. And we would have missed this opportunity to really dive into something that potentially a lot of people struggle with, and to help educate people out there. I mean, it's a small example, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So if you have questions for the stream, type them in, and we will talk a little more. We'll bring them in at some point, but I just want to kind of explore this a little further. If you have questions for us about this or any topic, go ahead and type them in.
Being down your spiral or anything,
and answer some of these in a minute.
Yeah.
So,
hello everyone. By the way, lots of people on here. It's great to see you guys. Yes, Tia, we're happy and healthy and thriving, actually. David and I, well, certainly David, and I decided to join him. David decided very early on he wasn't going to participate in the recession or in the craziness. So,
are they saying the R word out there now? I don't know.
Sorry?
The R word. They're still like pumping. Somebody posted something on Facebook from CNN, and it was they show the global, how many people have it and how many people died from it. On CNN, I guess constantly. And maybe that's why people go to CNN. I don't know. But to me, the more you focus on something, the more you're going to get of it, for sure. So if you want to focus on that, you can, but I don't think it's solving anything for anyone to focus on that. Focus on health, focus on well-being, focus on what you want for you and your loved ones, and not get all wrapped up in this fear mongering, but the news channels love it because people are glued to it. I think I told you the other day, I told Gary on my radio show this week that I talked to my parents over the weekend, and my stepmother has a moment-to-moment update of how many people died of this. And she's like, Dad, constantly, yeah. Oh, we're up to 45 now, in the state of Texas or wherever, So I thought that was really interesting that, just glued to the TV about, what the death toll is and how many people have it and who's going to get it. You're going to get it too. And now the new thing is, it's going to be even worse in the fall. And, there's just always going to be some doom and gloom, and our collective fear is what caused this in the first place. Our collective fear is what's going to keep it going. So I posted something on Facebook yesterday, and I said, I'll wear a mask, I'll wash my hands, I'll sanitize, I'll keep my distance. It's fine, but I'm not going to do any of that stuff in fear. It's not about going out and pushing against the the establishment and showing my defiance or anything like that, because that's just as down the spiral negative vibration as anything else. It's just going with the flow, setting my intention toward what I want, and making my work being up in high vibration.
Yeah, grace and ease, and the stream were very clear from day one. Obviously, listen to your doctors. Obviously, take the best medical advice you can, but don't panic.
Yeah.
And it's that panic and fear, again, just like when you're down the spiral, just like when you're up the spiral, whatever you focus on, you will get more of. Hey, Wendy, David's just playing around with the interface here. And hey, Kerry, we mentioned Texas, and Kerry turns up.
There's Kerry.
Yeah.
Kerry in Texas. Kerry's a boot camp graduate, and Wendy is also a boot camp graduate.
Yeah.
Hello. Sorry, I like to play with this stuff.
Yeah. It'd be great, Wendy and Kerry. It'd be wonderful to hear from you guys and anyone else who's going through boot camp and who's graduated, on how you manage being up and down the spiral. We're going to focus on that today when we bring the stream in, and I think it's a good topic because I remember when I was first learning the tools, and I clearly remember David having a call with you one day, being like, "How do I get out of this? I just can't. I just feel down. I just feel blue. I can't." How does it work? And it was interesting to have that teaching and that training and starting to learn those skills to still go down the spiral, but spend much less time there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's not about never going down in a negative vibration. And I think there's a lot of people that think that law of attraction is about attracting some life of perfection. And the law of attraction is a process of all creation, from every thought to every mood to every physical material thing to the health of your body, the type of people that you surround yourself with. It impacts everything. Everything that's happening in your life is via the law of attraction. So the more you're up in high vibration, the more you're going to receive the things that you want. As long as you're believing them and wanting them, you're going to receive them. But when you go down in a negative vibration, then you're down there canceling that stuff out, because that's where the doubt and the fear and all of those negative emotions come in. And it slows some of that stuff down. Yeah. And it's okay, because we're not here to just instantaneously manifest every single thing that we want. It's actually not a very rich life experience, as much as anybody that's living in poverty right now might think so. It's not a rich life experience to just have everything that you want. In fact, we see evidence all the time of people that have everything that they want and they're still miserable very often, or they have everything they want, life's going really well, and they're going to disrupt it somehow.
Yeah. And they're terrified of losing it.
Yeah, they're going to somehow disrupt that, because you can't just maintain a certain vibration at all times. Polarity is always going to drag you around. So it's going to pull us down sometimes, and we're going to go down and we're going to manifest obstacles. But Taya is about being up in high vibration more often, so that you're manifesting fewer obstacles. And when you do manifest an obstacle, it really is about how you react to that. That's why when I had my identity theft, almost 2 weeks ago now, I came on right away and talked about what I was doing to move up in my vibration to get out of it, and not getting too caught up into why did I manifest this and how did I manifest that. I don't know. I can't tell you how, because I'm not going to spend any time exploring that. I don't want to keep that vibration alive. I simply went up my spiral where the solutions were, got the solutions. At some point, I will look back and see how that event served my expansion. But for now, I'm onward. And I make my work every day being up my spiral. But when I'm a little DTS, like I have been today, then I've got to stop and appreciate. I've got to breathe. I've got to do a quick, clear meditation. I've got to just come on and talk to all of you. And that makes me feel better in and of itself. And all of these little things, increase my vibe, and suddenly I start to see the physical evidence turn instantaneously.
Yeah. Actually, that quick clear meditation is a really good one, and all those meditations are available on your website, and they're really useful, practical tools if you need some help at the beginning to just get into a better state of mind, relax, just have some help to manage your spiral.
Yeah, it's Quick Clear's on there.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
I don't know what's on my website. So Quick Clear is great because it's a 5-minute quick meditation. And you may think, well, it's only a 5-minute meditation. What's it going to do? Well, that's the whole point. It's a 5-minute quick trip up the spiral any time of the day, which is I love that meditation because it's quick. I can get my vibe turned around pretty quickly. I don't need half an hour of meditation to do it. If I have half an hour, that's a pretty luxurious way for me to spend half an hour for sure. But if I don't have half an hour, if I need to get up the spiral, if I'm in the middle of, business or traveling or something like that, I can listen to that, breathe, and I can get myself up in vibration anywhere, even sitting in the middle of a busy airport. And you can too. Again, all of these things are available. They just take time and effort and tools and techniques and things like that to be able to get there. So,
and at the moment, you need to find a busy airport, which is difficult.
Yeah, so it would be hard to find a busy airport right now, probably. I guess. I don't know. I hear that there's still flights happening and things like that. So
Yeah, no, it's
I'm surprised how much of the world is still operating business as usual,
mm,
because a lot of it is. A lot of it is. So
yeah.
hello from Palm Springs. I'm in Palm Springs too. Hi, all.
Hello.
So we're not taking the spiritual, but no, we don't do the spiritual bypass radiance. We don't do that at all. In fact, because we see there's so much value in the down the spiral stuff. We don't want to spend a whole lot of time down there, but when you do go down, and you will, working through that stuff and working your way back up, and then looking back and finding appreciation for what you manifested that you didn't want and how it ultimately serves you, that's why we have negative. So if we just are quote unquote cheerful, that's my term for spiritual bypassing is cheerful. Oh, they're cheerful. Cheerful means, you're not really happy, but you're going to pretend to be happy for the sake of others. And there's not a whole lot of value in that for you. Certainly, you want to be up your spiral and you want to be positive most of the time, but you are what you are. And there's some work that you need to do in your life if you want to be in positive vibration more often than not. There is work that you can do, and there's a path that you can take that raises that general vibration that we talk about, the default vibration all the time. And by what's going on in your life where your default vibration is. If your life is generally good, then your general vibration is pretty high. If your life is a hot mess, then your general vibration is pretty low.
Yeah.
And it can be anywhere you want it to be. It really is our choice where our vibration is. And if we feel like our vibration isn't our choice, and that we've been a victim of something, and that external thing has lowered our vibration, we've got to take ownership of that and change that if we want to.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to, and that's fine. That's not my business. I'm in the business of working with people who want freedom, who want joy, who want a stronger connection with source, who want to learn to live a happier, more abundant life. And my term abundance means abundance of whatever you want. And one of the things that you learn that people get into boot camp sometimes, and they'll start out saying, well, I'm going to take your boot camp because I want to learn how to be financially successful. And if that's all they want, I don't even let them in boot camp. That's not the right candidate to come into Thai boot camp, because that's not what it's about. It's about learning to love yourself. It's about healing your past. It's about learning to love and appreciate all of humanity, how they are, where they are, go to that higher perspective place and start running your life from that higher vibrational, higher perspective space, which does include going down the spiral sometimes, manifesting some unwanted things, and then using these tools to go back up your spiral where all the solutions are up in high vibration, and solving those things and grow as a person and expand as a soul conscious being in the solving of them. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's not about, I want a yacht and a mansion. It's fine to have that stuff. I always say I like nice things too. There's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But I've had a lot of nice things and been miserable. So if you are all about having nice things and that's what you want in your life, I think that's great. But the Taya practice is for people who are really ready to find clarity, to find joy in their now, and ultimately to use those tools to make themselves happier, to have the clarity of source flowing, to learn a path to loving themselves and healing everything in their lives. And then from that high vibrational space, abundance flows from there. Yeah. You find yourself having your every need met by the universe and having whatever you want. But very often you'll find yourself in that high vibrational space not wanting the same things anymore, because you don't need power and control and the best looks and the hottest partner and the pile of money and all that stuff that we think we need in this society to be happy. You don't need that stuff anymore. You can have some of those things or all of those things, but you're in a position of not needing it. And when you really, really, really need something, you're basically chasing it away out of your life anyway. So that 100%. Vibration of need is detrimental.
100%. And Wendy just posted something here which is true. I've been looking for ways to take advantage of the current situation. For example, I'm using my stay-at-home time to work out more. That's a perfect example of being high vibration and seeing this time as abundance. I don't have my commute anymore. All of a sudden, I've got an hour extra in my day. I've got 2 hours extra in my day. Am I going to sit on the couch and watch the news and see how many people died, or am I going to train, or am I going to meditate, or am I going to do some stuff? And I think what we'll find is people who have a set daily routine will come out of this much more invigorated and much more ready than people who kind of just panicked and let it all go.
Yeah.
But it really is up to us to decide how we want our days to be, and then just allow the universe to align itself for us, in alignment with our intention.
Yeah. Well, I was using some of this time to cook a lot of stuff that I love to cook, and I was cooking a lot of stuff that I never cooked before. But as Wendy pointed out, I'm finding my quarantine 15, so now I need to use it to get back to working. I ordered some things to start a home gym to get back, because I love working out. I love going to the gym, but right now I can't, and I don't have the equipment in my house. So now I'm starting to get creative with doing some stuff around the house and being more physical around the house instead of cooking and eating so much. Yeah. Because I'm starting to use it as recreation, and you don't want to use food as recreation. That's not a good thing. Enjoy food for the sake of enjoying the food, and I enjoy cooking it and making it and sharing it. But I'm bored. Let me go grab something out of the refrigerator. We're all guilty of that sometimes, I think. So we have to watch it this time for sure.
That's a slippery slope.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So shall we bring him in?
Sure. I'm better now. All right. So what we do at this point in the presentation is
here's something we prepared earlier.
Yeah. So what we do at this point in the broadcast is we bring the stream in, and you can all ask questions for the stream if you want, and type them in now. Matt will read the questions. I will channel the stream. The stream will answer anything that you ask. Their only limitation is my intellect and vocabulary, so you need to ask your question in English. Although Matt you can interpret like 3 languages, right?
I can, yeah. But
well, let's Matt's interpreting. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So my intellect, my vocabulary. Other than that, there's nothing that's off limits. You can ask the stream about anything that you want to ask the stream about. It doesn't matter. They will go very deep if you want to go very deep. Matt and I experienced a very deep stream experience on Sunday with a group of our time mastery people, and they went deep. They went really deep, and so the capability is there. So ask anything that you want, and the way we get the stream to show up is that we all take a moment and we get quiet. We meditate together, and I'm asking all of you that are watching right now, and in the future, if you're watching this as a recording, to take a moment and set an intention for the stream to come through, to have a very positive experience, and that's how I bring them in. And in just a couple of minutes, you will be able to ask any questions that you want.
Yeah, perfect.
Take my glasses off. It interrupts the signal. You get the signal.
The antenna. It gets in the way of your antenna.
That's right. It blocks it. I need to get a new antenna installed. We are here.
Thank you for joining us. We have an interesting topic today, and we're excited to get some of your guidance on it. May we ask you some questions, please?
Indeed, you may.
We were talking about being down the spiral and about how that's an important part of being here. You often talk about polarity. Do you have any guidance for us? A lot of people are very down their spiral and stressed at the moment. Do you have any guidance for us when we are down there? Why it occurs, why it's important, and what we should do?
We will begin by explaining the nature of vibration. Your vibration, as you perceive it as a human being, is the same as your mood. The way that you feel, and the way that you feel, your mood essentially is the signal that you're sending out to the universe. That's what you're broadcasting. This is why you can say one thing and think something very differently, and not get the results of what you're saying that you want if you're not trusting and believing it. And the entire purpose of vibration is to drive expansion. Vibration causes you to fluctuate vibrationally between what you would call positive and negative. We are not judging any of it, but we understand from your human perspective that you do, and your preference is to be up in high vibration, up in the territory where you believe your dreams and you're trusting your abundance and you're loving yourselves and you're loving all of humanity, certainly we understand that is more appealing to the vast majority of you than being down in anger and worry and fear and envy and things of that nature. There are positive and negative emotions in your perspective. And this polarity is dragging your vibration up and down a virtual vibrational spiral all the time. You are always fluctuating. This is why you're not just up and happy and elated and thrilled all the time. In fact, if you were like that, you would take that for granted and you would no longer appreciate it, and thus you would automatically drop in vibration and your boredom with it. You are highly intelligent creatures, and as humans, you are the most intelligent creatures on your planet. And having that level of intellect with your creative capacity and not utilizing it to create something new would dull you and would actually cause humanity to go backward. So if you ever manifest your paths to what you might consider utopia, that will actually be your demise, because there would be no purpose in your being, because you all come here to physical to experience this polarity, this which many of you have labeled contrast, positive and negative, because the negative inspires all of your new creation. Think about the things that you create. Think about the things that you want, that you strive for, the reason you get out of bed in the morning, the reason you keep going is for something bigger, something brighter, something more. And when you get into survival mode where you're just getting by and surviving, your vibration is dropping and your lives get worse. You begin attracting more things that you don't want into your life. You get sick. You find yourselves lonely. You find yourselves dulled, if you will. You are not on fire, and you're not creating, and you're not thrilled. And you all go through periods of this. It is normal for you all to go through sort of a rhythmic period of being up and down. Polarity has an impact on you that flows throughout the day, and has a larger impact on you that flows throughout the year in your lives and throughout your lives in general. And you go through these cycles where you are really up, and then you go through cycles where you are down a bit. That serves you. It is natural for you. You all do it. There is not one human being on your planet that is not going through this vibrational cycle. There are certainly some that you see a version of that never allows you to see the down the spiral version of them until they really go down their spiral and they end up on the cover of a magazine. But you're all aware of it. You are all aware that you are all human and you're imperfect, as you say, which we believe means that you are absolutely perfect, because you are here to have this mix of positive and negative, because the negative inspires you to create something new, to want more. Everything that you've created across your planet, including your planet itself, which you were all co-creators of and continue to be co-creators of the expansion of your planet, and as part of the universe, expansion of the universe. You're wanting more and creating more and coming up with new technology and wanting change and wanting improvement. That is the driver of the expansion of the entire universe. And you can take the universal level and bring it down to planet Earth. You can take planet Earth and bring it down to your region, and take your region and bring it down to your community, and take your community and bring it down to your personal experience. And it all operates exactly the same. Storms come through. They cause some destruction. You want improvement. You want spring to come. You allow spring to come by going up your spiral and beginning to believe in spring. And suddenly spring arrives and you realize that you have solved your problem. You have overcome your obstacle. And in the overcoming of, you've created something new in the process. This is the process of universal creation, and always will be. And this is why you have polarity. This is why you come as vibrational beings. And indeed, this is why you come to physical at all.
Wow. You can drop the mic now. That was fantastic, and I've often struggled with this idea of as above, so below, and now I feel like I understand. Like the same laws apply at a massive level as they do as a tiny level. And I think that was fantastic advice and wisdom. Thank you. To those of us who are down the spiral at a certain amount of time, what is the best way we can accept that time and allow ourselves to move through it? Because now that we understand that vibration causes expansion and that contrast leads to positive, we can have a better appreciation for being down the spiral. But when you're down, it feels bad. Do you have any advice to us when we're down there, when we're struggling, when it just doesn't seem like anything's going to work?
The more, for lack of a better term, the more vibrational work that you do, meaning the more you pay attention to where your vibration is and the more intentional you are with the movement of your vibration, meaning gaining the tools not to allow yourselves to continue a downward spiral. Because what happens is inevitably polarity is going to pull you down a little bit. Polarity sort of fluctuates you plus or minus, above or below negative a little bit. And generally what will pull you in either direction is your thought process. You're fueling your spiral at that point. So if polarity drags you down below neutral and you're down in a little bit of negative and you feel less energized, you feel not as optimistic, you feel not as hopeful, you know that you are down the spiral. We commonly refer to this as DTS. You know that you're down there in negative emotion. And what many of you do, and this is what you're very often taught to do, is to start the thought process. When you're down in negative emotion, you begin thinking about yourselves, you begin thinking about your lives, you begin thinking about your dreams, you begin then thinking about that person that did that thing to you, and this circumstance that you can't control, and this external thing that is looming that you're fearing. And you all have things that are looming in that you are fearing right now, perhaps. And then all of a sudden you've built momentum going down the spiral faster and further, and it gets worse and worse and worse until you do something to stop it. Many of you develop your own tools to reverse this, but some of you are better than others at it. You all come to this life with a different set of experiences and a different set of tools, if you will, based on your intentionality of how you want this experience to start off. And you develop different tools through your focus throughout your lifetime. How much of the external teachings are you going to absorb, not questioning whether they truly serve you or not? If you're not questioning whether they truly serve you or not, and you're absorbing external teachings that make you feel like a victim, that make you feel like you're not in control of your life, that make you feel like you are destined for some destination that you do not desire, you are buying into a set of beliefs that are not serving your desires. And it's completely your choice whether to do that or not. But we understand if you are following teachings such as ours, you are looking to break that cycle, perhaps. And that's what we are offering, are tools to break that cycle. So one major tool to break that cycle is to get in control of your vibrational spiral. Learn to know what it feels like to be down. Start noticing it. It's a bit uncomfortable when you start doing this, because very often when you're down the spiral, you want to distract yourselves. You want to go turn on the television. Perhaps you want to get something to eat. You want to distract yourself with something that will soothe you. But if your vibration is really down there and you're using something external to soothe you, it is a temporary fix at best. And you're not really bringing yourselves out of that, where you have the power to bring yourselves out of it. Polarity eventually will bring you out of it no matter what. But you are creative, intelligent beings. You don't have to sit around and wait for polarity to toss you around and have its way with you. You can control this. You can control your thought patterns. This separates you from other beings on your planet. And you've got great responsibility on your planet. You are the custodians of your planet as you are becoming more and more aware. And in doing so, your intentionality makes a big difference in what happens next. So you can look at this for your planet. You can look at this for your own personal life. What's going to happen next? It's truly up to you. And if you want more of the things that you want to be what happens next, the ticket to that is being up your spiral, up in high vibration. When you start to dip down, notice that you're dipping down and not allowing that thought train to take off, and doing the things, the tools that David teaches very often to go up into higher vibration. Quick, clear, breathe, appreciate. Find things that you appreciate about you. Find things that you appreciate about your environment. Find something that will distract yourself to feel a little better. Then start working on really quieting your mind and really allowing our energy to flow to you, because it's always flowing to you. You just disallow it when you're down your spiral. And the more you're beating yourselves up down there, the more we are not connected to you, because we hold nothing but love for you. So if you are not in a state of loving yourself, you are cutting yourselves off from our energy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Beautiful message. Beautiful message. And that is the work that David talks about. The work is not boarding the thought train and controlling our vibrations and staying up. And I love your guidance, which is just, it is as easy as concentrating on feeling happy and allowing the universe to organize itself around our intention.
Indeed.
With when people start to understand this and start to realize that positive energy and love is the source of universal expansion, is it possible for them to maintain, to dramatically shift their default set vibration?
Anything is possible. We are never going to come here and tell you that something is impossible, because truly anything is possible. There are things that you're limited to in your cycle of lifetime, certainly, but maintaining your vibration and learning to raise your default is not one of them. David teaches a practice that we have co-created with him called Taya, as you're well aware. He teaches it all the time, all over the place, and we share bits and pieces of it all the time, all over the place as well. And this practice is about resetting your default vibration, gaining these tools, paying attention to where you are vibrationally at all times, learning to raise your vibration on demand. And on demand is really not the best way to state this, because it's not about trying to claw your way up your spiral and just be up in positive vibration all the time, but it's about appreciating where you are, appreciating what being down the spiral is all about, using the tools that we have already mentioned to move up a bit, paying attention to this all the time. And it will become second nature for you if you do this. And spending some time every day in quietness, in meditation. Guided meditations are fine. They can take you on a magical journey, and they can certainly raise your vibration. But we also guide all of you to learn how to raise your vibration without any external tools whatsoever. Raising your general vibration will supersede all of these human created things that you have. You all have crystals and chakras and essential oils and chants and all of these things that humanity has created, and they all work for you. We are not guiding you away from any of that stuff. That's all good stuff. You created it all. It serves you, and there's nothing wrong with any of it. But the power of your mind, the power of your focus supersedes all of that, because all of those things are tools that you have created or other teachers on your planet have created to help you get to where we are guiding you to go. What we want for you is to gain the tools to do that without any external tools whatsoever.
To be fully self-sufficient.
To be fully self-sufficient and turning inward for your own guidance, to quiet your mind, allow our energy to flow to you, and use these tools that we share far and wide to raise your vibration. Pay attention to where you are vibrationally. Pay attention to what's coming into your life. Realize that there are things that are coming into your life that you are perhaps pushing against. The things that you don't want very badly, the things that you don't want to happen are the things that very often happen. And there are things that you want very badly. And sometimes you want them very badly that you've activated what we call the vibration of need. And the vibration of need is always going to be answered in yes from the universe. Yes, you need it. Yes, you need it. Yes, you need it. You fear that. Yes, you fear that you're going to have something like that. The universe only answers yes. So do what we are now calling zooming out. Zoom out to an intention of a high vibration and general well-being, and allow the universe to do the work for you, rather than being so intentional about needing this specific manifestation to be happy and needing that specific thing to go away to be happy and needing this thing to change to be happy. Love you where you are, how you are, as you are. Learn to do that, and you all can. You all have the capacity to learn. And right now you may be in a place where that seems a million miles away, that you can't possibly love yourself while your body is this. You can't possibly love yourself while you're suffering from that. You can't possibly love yourself when the bank balance says this, but you can. And when you do, and you accept those things and get out of what Matt very often calls the 3D, the human, the very much the things that you fear on your planet are created in 3D. Your credit score, your bank balance, your relationship status, the style of your hair, perhaps the thinness of your body, the Hollywood image of what you're supposed to look like. All of those things are 3D things that you are being sold, that this is a version of happiness. Drive this car, use this product, look this way, have that significant other, work this type of career, have this much money, live in that mansion, follow this person, and you will finally be happy. And you all arrive there at some version of that, or some lower version of that, if you will, and make peace with that and realize that that's not buying you happiness. There are people on your planet right now that have all of the things that you all think you need, and they are miserable. Mm-hmm. And we are not guiding you away from your things. We are simply stating that learning to experience joy in your now is the path to going up your spiral, moving your general vibration up, and experiencing a level of well-being that is nothing like what you're told it's supposed to be on your planet. And when you start experiencing that, then you are truly clear, and you can truly stand in appreciation for everything on your planet, even your pandemics and your recessions and these things that you are all taught to fear so much. You can stand in full appreciation of them and choose not to participate in the fearful version of that at all. And notice that you will not participate in the physical version of that when you feel that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Such wise words. And I'm starting to understand now that if we all focus on our own vibration, and if we all focus on raising our own vibration, then we will contribute to the collective vibration which will be raised. Then spring will come.
The collective vibration for several weeks now on your planet has been one of mass fear, as you know, and that mass fear has caused things to spread, and in some opinions get worse. But your work is to really control your own bubble of reality. When you control your bubble of reality, you are contributing to the collective in a positive way. And by control, we mean appreciate, we mean zoom out, we mean trust your abundance, we mean trust the universe to deliver general well-being. We do not mean being so laser focused on manifesting specific things that you miss the whole point, which is joy in the first place. But your contribution of joy will create more joy on your planet.
Yeah.
And one of the tickets to creating joy for yourself is understanding that not everyone on your planet is ready for joy. There are certainly people on your planet that want to go to battle.
Yeah.
And that's their version of joy. And we do not judge it, and we guide all of you not to judge it, even if you don't understand it at all. If it's so far out of your vibration that you may look upon another and believe they're insane. It is so far out of your vibration, but for them, it's very real. And for them, it is the truth. And for them, it is the only way. And you certainly do not have to follow their belief system. And even if they are wanting you to believe the way they believe, you do not have to in turn need them to believe the way that you do, because that will only disappoint you, because you're all individuals. And you're not all ready for this type of thought. Notice there are not 5 million people on this broadcast.
Yeah.
We're not all ready for this. There are plenty who are indeed, but most are not. There are many that are in spiritual circles, if you will, that do not want to take on this level of thought, that do not want to take on complete responsibility for everything that has happened and will happen in their lives. But when you do, it's very satisfying, because you become very powerful.
Yes, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about your message, and that's one of the beautiful things that we learn in doing this practice, is how powerful we really are, and how powerful we all are individually. Do you have any? We're getting close to time, and it's been a fantastic session. Ken, I'd just like some guidance, please, for the collective on how to harness our power in this week, and how we can all contribute positively to our circles of influence.
We will depart with a message of appreciating what you're in right now. This global reset is something that you have done for yourselves, and you have done it by and large through fear in the beginning. But ultimately, many of you are coming to see that the things that you are fearing are causing you to behave in ways that are netting positive results. And these positive results are things that you can build upon. So we guide you to continue to move away from fear. regardless of what's going on, because the fear that you may be experiencing is not serving you on any level. And understand that regardless of what the challenges are that come your way, whether it's illness of your pandemic or some other type, or if it's looming poverty or a recession or loss of a job or loss of a loved one, to zoom out to the higher perspective of you are all eternal beings having a very temporary human experience, and you are here to find joy in this lifetime, and you are here to be free. You are not here to be told what to do, what to think, how to live, and you all know that. You all know that. You at your core, you all want to be free. You want to be joyous. You want to chart your own courses and take your own paths. And at your very best, when you're up your spiral, you want to make your own mistakes. You want to have your own obstacles to overcome, and you want to allow yourselves to expand in the overcoming of them. And if you've wound yourself down a path that you are experiencing more obstacles than you believe you should, then that is a clear sign that your default vibration needs some attention. Where is your vibration all day, every day? Where are you consistently? Are you placing yourself in a situation where you believe you don't have time to do this work that we recommend? The 5-minute quick clear, a little bit of meditation in the morning, of finding things to appreciate all day throughout the day, finding things to appreciate even when things are dire, perhaps. We are not speaking of fight or flight or anything like that, but just when things are looking very gloomy, do you have the tools to work your way out of that vibrationally so that you do not keep going down? You can all develop these tools. And as far as your contribution to society goes, we speak of this all the time, and that the very best that you have to offer your fellow humans is the up the spiral version of you. The up the spiral, high vibrational version of you, thriving and living in joy and living in clarity, a peaceful being, contributing to the planet however you wish to contribute to the planet. That's completely up to you. And you will find that when you are up in that high vibrational territory, you can't help but share it in some way. You are not going to sit and selfishly consume high vibration and not have it radiate out to other beings. It does not work like that. So at your very best, you're up your spiral. You're in a place of self-love. You're a very powerful creator when you're up there. Our energy is flowing to you. You are breathing and you are loving every aspect of exactly how you are right now. And when you're at less than that, realize that you're down the spiral a bit, and that there's some vibrational work that you can do that should not seem like work at all, but simply breathing and appreciating and stopping and clearing and doing that work to reset your default vibration. And then do this habitually. And that is where this tends to get many of you. You get on a path such as this, and you start, you have a default vibration that has been established throughout your lifetime. And when you start wanting to change your default vibration, you start doing these things. You read a book, you watch a video such as this, you listen to a podcast, whether it is David's or someone else's, and you get inspired and you want to do something new, and you start doing it for a day or two or three, and then you find yourself slipping right back into your old habits. This is because you are indeed vibrational beings. This is why David created his boot camp, to get those who are really ready to change in a controlled environment and learn these tools over a series of weeks, so that you are changing your vibration over this series of weeks. Mm-hmm. And if you have heard from some that have been through the program, you are hearing how they've done this. And that's what it was designed for. We channeled the entire thing. And it's designed to take your vibration higher and higher and higher. But it's not just sugarcoating every day. Mm-hmm. It's digging down into your transgressors and digging into the transgressors of your lives, the unwanted people, circumstances, and events that have shaped who you are and how you think and what triggers you down your spiral. And that is the work. Hmm. Boot camp or no boot camp, that is the work, is going and dealing with those things. And you deal with them not just through forgiveness, but for full-blown appreciation of them, because you manifested them. You were a co-creator of them. And eventually, if you have not already come to a conclusion of how that event served you, that person, that circumstance, or that event served you, you will. Because when you go up your spiral, you will start to look at things very differently. You are a different person when you are up your spiral than you are when you were down. David very often speaks of being drunk on DTS. You're down the spiral, and you everything about you is clouded, just like if you've had too much alcohol or another substance that clouds your judgment. You are a different individual vibrationally in that down the spiral state. and you're going to behave differently, and you're not only going to behave differently, you're going to receive differently when you're down there. So all of this work, all of these things, is about being up more often than not, and knowing how to appreciate and ease out of your downtime, thus having more joy, more clarity, and ultimately more abundance in your life. That is our very simple guidance for all of you. With much love, that's all we have.
Wow. Ooh, man. It was full throttle today.
Good.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
We brought them back from my DTS. We brought them back in a nice, powerful way. So I'm sure they were raring to go.
Yeah. How do you feel now?
Good.
Yeah.
I can't be down the spiral after experiencing that, of course.
Yeah.
I feel really good.
Yeah. No, that was fantastic. Amazing wisdom. Amazing.
Good.
Amazing. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I didn't get to ask a lot of questions. They were just flowing so effortlessly. It was easy to kind of let them go. Someone asked a question. I just wanted to touch on it. Donna Spiegel, how do you focus on intention of well-being, and what do you do or say to yourself? Donna, that's all stuff that's taught in detail in the boot camp, and maybe hit David up for a discovery call and have a chat to him about that.
We'll take the masterclass.
Or take the masterclass. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can put a link in here and take the masterclass. You can go in and take the masterclass, and it takes about an hour of your time, and you need a notebook and a pen and focus. It's not something you can stop and start and try to do while you're doing something else, but there's a lot of valuable information in the masterclass. Yeah. And it's not even really an hour. It probably takes you an hour once you stop and answer the questions and things like that.
It's less than the commute you're not doing. So Donna, I'm sorry I didn't ask that, but the information is out there. There's a link to the masterclass on David's website, and we'll post it in the channel as well, in the Facebook group as well.
In the Facebook groups, yeah. I'll post it in, so you can all take the masterclass.
Yeah, perfect. All right, guys, thank you. I've got to run. I've got another a meeting. Fantastic session, David. Thanks very much. Amazing energy. Really grateful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks, everybody. Namaste.
Bye-bye.